Hi, this is Deepak, and I'm in my office at Deepak Home Base. And I have the pleasure right now of having a visitor from the Albert Einstein Foundation. And he's a brilliant young man, Elan Divon, who lives in Montreal, but he's actually come here on behalf of the Albert Einstein project, and it's part of the Albert Einstein
legacy project.
So why don't you tell us what the project is about?
Absolutely. So we are honoring Albert Einstein and his legacy. 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago, Einstein came up with a theory, his theory of relativity, without which we wouldn't have smartphones, and we wouldn't have GPS, and we wouldn't have satellites and TVs. So
not only did he participate in his two theories of relativity, special and general, but he was one of the pioneers in quantum physics too. So go ahead, sorry for the intro.
Absolutely. So we are here to celebrate Albert Einstein, but more importantly, to find the next generation of Einsteins on the planet. One of the projects that we're doing is called Genius 100 Visions of the Future, in which we invite 100 of the leading minds, scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, innovators of our time to share their vision of the future. And we are honored and delighted, Deepak, that you are joining us in this endeavor and accepted your nomination as one of those 100 contributors to Genius.
You're very kind. I don't know if I deserve it, but thanks for inviting me. So tell me what the project is going to be and when is it going to be launched, or is it already launched?
So there's a number of projects we're already doing. We have a Next Einstein competition, which has been running in North America for the last 3 years, which invites the general public to share their ideas on how to make the world a better place.
So a lot of people here are part of our public, and they will want to know how they can participate in this.
Absolutely. So if you want to join the Next Einstein competition, you can visit nexteinstein.com and sign up to maybe become the next Einstein and share your idea with the world.
Nexteinstein.com.
Yes, www.nexteinstein.com.
And of course, they can find out about the organization also. We posted the URL.
Yeah.
We just posted the URL. Okay, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Not at all. We're very proud to partner with the European Space Agency, and we are launching a Next Einstein competition in South Africa, in a rural area of South Africa with 19 schools, 10,000 students participating. And so we're also very proud to be searching for the next Einstein in South Africa. And we hope to continue it to Kenya and Egypt and other countries that have expressed interest. And we are also going to be launching all of this in September 9th and 10th with what's being dubbed the Dinner of the Century in Montreal, with the convening of some of these the greatest minds that are participating in the Genius book, dignitaries from around the world, and the next Einstein. Some of the winners of our competition will come together to celebrate Einstein and to hopefully inspire a new generation of creative thinkers, of innovators to pursue their passion, to follow their curiosity and maybe solve problems that will affect all of us.
So the Albert Einstein Foundation, which you are one of the directors, is it?
With the Einstein Legacy Project. So I'm actually with the Einstein Legacy Project.
The foundation itself is in Israel?
Yeah.
And they have the archives there of all his work, right?
That's right. So Einstein, one of the things that isn't very well known is that in 1918, 3 years after Einstein published this theory of relativity, he actually founded a university, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem.
Right.
And when he passed away in 1955, he loved this university so much that he gave his entire estate and legacy to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, including his, all of his letters, his books, his personal library, his belongings, his letters, everything that he had to the university. And so today you have the Albert Einstein archives at the Hebrew University, and we're looking to build and take this international treasure and really create a visitor center that people from around the world can come and be inspired by Einstein and his story and his work.
So, Elan, you were kind enough to give me one of these books right now. What is it called? We can't show it to them because we're using it as a stand for our podcast.
So it is called Genius 100 Visions of the Future.
Okay. What's the vision with this book? What do you want to do?
So this book is about the collective vision. We want to create a collective vision for humanity where we bring together some of the great minds, 100 of the great minds of our time, from different fields, from arts and entertainment to literature and science. We have Nobel laureates, about 12 that are already committed to this or confirmed as participants. We have a number of incredible people that are in this book. And from throwing out some names now, but from the environmentalist David Suzuki to the author of The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho.
He's a good friend.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh, wow. So he just recently accepted his nomination to Barbra Streisand and conductor Zubin Mehta and the former president of Israel before he passed, President Shimon Peres. So wonderful and exceptional, brilliant minds are participating in this project, and what's unique about this book is that it's going to be the first book in human history that will be published using 3D printing technologies. So that is going to be something quite exceptional. And we're working, Deepak, with the space agency, and in particular with the Japanese space agency, to try and print the first copy of this book in the International Space Station in space. So, so that's
So what's a 3D book?
So a 3D book is basically a book that is being printed using 3D printing technology. So you have a printer, a 3D printer, and rather than through a normal publishing house, you're having a printer create what's again unique about the book is it's going to look like a bust or an actual sculpture of Einstein's head. And so imagine the sculpture of Einstein, which is a book that you can open and read.
Amazing.
And it's going to be printed using the special 3D printing technology.
So, Elan, we're living in a very interesting time right now where you have suddenly new technologies, including things like CRISPR, gene editing, you have artificial intelligence, you have augmented reality, we have the possibility of actually creating hybrid forms of life. It's kind of, in a way, both the amazing creativity of human beings, but also combined with both, I would say, their divine and diabolical tendencies. So we have the capacity right now to destroy the world, create monstrosities through all that we know about, how we can manipulate genetic structures. We created a planet which risks its own extinction. We have the capacity collectively to destroy the world many, many times over. We have created climate change, extinction of species. We have petroleum in our food system. We've destroyed the ecosystem. And yet we are a most amazing species because none other than ourselves, who are we, where did we come from, what is the meaning and purpose of our existence, what is the meaning of death, does God exist, does God care about us, is our planet just a speck of dust in some mindless void in the junkyard of infinity, or are we co-creators even of the universe, which is the thesis of my book, You Are the Universe, Discovering a Cosmic Self. So I think we are at a crossroads right now. We can either create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, joyful, loving, compassionate world full of empathy and joy. But we could go the other way as well. You and I were discussing earlier that the fall from grace was actually, in a way, the biblical fall of grace was the duality that came, me and God, me and the universe, when in fact we are one wholeness of existence.
Yes,
right?
And I can't agree with you more. I mean, and it sort of connects to this whole Einstein Legacy project and why we're doing what we're doing. We need to find and inspire and support the world's next Einsteins. You know, imagine how many kids out there, not just here in North America, but around the world, if just given the opportunity, if just given a platform, and the resources and the tools, can share ideas that are going to change the world. You know, I'm not an environmentalist, but in a hardcore sense, but you know, you think about the environment, and to me, this is the most important issue facing our time right now, because without which we can't live here on this planet. I give the analogy, imagine if someone comes into your house and he contaminates your water and he starts drilling in your basement and he kills your dog and he cuts down your trees, you're going to be angry. Well, this is what's happening with our house in our world, and it's our collective house. And I think we're, you know, for a few extra dollars of making, you know, money off oil, for example, for immediate gratification, we're not going to have, our grandkids are not going to have fresh air to breathe and a world to live in. So
you know, I've always thought that knowing climate change, although there are deniers, but knowing all the facts, knowing the science, even creating a critical mass of awareness around the science, hasn't compelled people to change. And I've wondered if we need a more spiritual shift, which is based on science, of course. You know, and one of the things is that we call the world out there the environment, when in fact it's our extended body, right?
Yes.
The trees are our lungs. If they didn't breathe, we wouldn't breathe. The rivers and oceans are our circulation. The earth is recycling, is our body. The air is our breath. So perhaps we should just call it our body. You know, we have a personal body and we have an extended body, and they're both equally ours. We can't live without that. And in the way all life is connected, if you put an animal in a vacuum, it dies. If you put a plant in a vacuum, it dies. You put them both together, they both live.
Yes.
Right? Because we are in symbiotic relationship with all existence. In fact, the very idea of separation is a mental construct, you know, when it's one wholeness. And I was thinking the word health, the word holy, the word healing is all the same word. It's the return of our memory of who we are, wholeness. So, what are your hopes with this project that you have?
Well, we are truly hoping to be able to call upon the best of the human spirit throughout the world, and again, giving kids, particularly, you know, young people and women out there, young girls out there, who we need to be involved in the sciences and in the environment and in, you know, in public life. And in some parts of the world, they're not having those opportunities. So we just want to give young folks an opportunity to share whatever potential they have. And, you know, I got to tell you, when the idea of came from the European Space Agency, when we partnered with them to have this competition in South Africa and was presented to the 20 or so schools that they're partnered with there, we received a standing ovation. And you know, we take it for granted that by asking a child to share their ideas, it's an empowering thing, because, you know, a lot of kids think, you know, I'm not special, you know, my ideas don't matter. So I think we're trying to empower kids again, provide those that have great ideas with a platform to change the world.
So, you know, my new book, it begins with a conversation that occurred between Einstein and the great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore and the outskirts of Berlin in 1930. This is actually before the war broke out, before the whole Nazi madness emerged. And it's a very interesting conversation between, you know, a great sage and a great scientist. But Einstein was also a sage. I mean, that look at his writings, and, you know, when I read things like I want to know how God thinks, everything else is a detail. He was not just a mere technician. He thought in holistic terms.
Absolutely.
And Tagore says that every child that is born is proof that God has not given up on human beings. And so my book actually starts with that, and it concludes with that too. This conversation, we need a new world where consciousness, cosmos, science, poetry, and the humanities and the arts all come together, because these are all systems of thought developed in the one consciousness that we all share. So I wish you a lot of good luck with this project.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, and an honor to
Tell
have you on board.
people again how they can make connection.
So make a connection. Visit us at www.alberteinsteinfoundation.com. You can learn about our various projects, the Genius 100 Visions project. You can also visit the Next Einstein competition at nexteinstein.com and enroll and share your ideas of how to make the world a better place. And we look forward to seeing many of you potentially in our big celebration, our big dinner in Montreal, September 9th and 10th of 2017.
Of which you can find by going to this website.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Elan.
Thank you, Deepak.
And thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.